This case looks straightforward until you realize the punishment actually changed after the crime was already committed. A man named Ko Lee was convicted of rape and other sexual offenses. He was originally sentenced to 12 years and 3 weeks in jail, plus 13 strokes of the cane. But by the time his appeal was heard, he had already turned 50. Under Singapore law, that matters, because once an offender crosses 50, caning is no longer allowed. So instead of the 13 strokes, the Court of Appeal added 6 more months to his jail term. His appeal to overturn both conviction and sentence was dismissed. The offenses go back to August 2021. The victim had hired him for renovation work. While he was at her flat to repair lights, he hugged her without consent and raped her. He claimed it was consensual. The trial judge rejected that defense. The victim's account was described as unusually convincing, supported by messages she sent to friends on the same day, saying she was scared. At the appeal stage, his lawyers tried to highlight inconsistencies in her statements. But the court made it clear minor discrepancies do not outweigh strong, consistent evidence. More importantly, the defense had never challenged the authenticity of those messages during the trial, so they could not raise it later. That shut down a key part of the appeal. Here's where it gets interesting. The court didn't just replace the caning mechanically. It explained why. Caning, in Singapore's legal system, is meant to act as a strong deterrent, especially for serious crimes like sexual offenses. It also acknowledged something often not discussed openly, that victims may find some sense of justice knowing the offender faces physical punishment, not just imprisonment. So, when caning is no longer possible, the court has to compensate for that loss of deterrence. That's why the extra jail time was added. Ko's lawyer argued this was unfair. He said his client could not have predicted that the legal process would take so long that he would cross the age limit. But the prosecution pushed back, saying he should not receive what they called a discount simply because of timing. The court agreed with the prosecution. And this raises a deeper issue. In long-running cases, especially serious ones, delays can unintentionally change sentencing outcomes. Age becomes a factor not because of the crime, but because of how long the system takes. That creates a tension between legal consistency and procedural reality. On one hand, the law is clear about the age limit for caning. On the other, justice must still reflect the seriousness of the offense. So the system adjusts, in this case by increasing jail time. We're also seeing a broader pattern. Singapore courts are taking a firmer stance on sexual offenses, both in how evidence is assessed and how sentencing reflects deterrence. Victim testimony, when supported by contemporaneous evidence like messages, is being given significant weight. And attempts to introduce new arguments late in the process are being scrutinized closely. The bigger question is this: if punishment can change based on timing, does the system need to move faster, or does it need clearer rules on how sentences are adjusted when circumstances shift? What do you think? Should age-based limits like this remain fixed, or should courts have more flexibility in how they handle cases like this? Like, share, and subscribe to 2230.